Takes it back 5. Touchdown Breakers.
Yo, what is going on, Breaker Nation? It is your boy Leaux. I'm back in this thing. We've got a lot to unpack in this episode. Players are reporting to training camp. Coaches are already there. It's getting serious. We are getting closer than ever. I can't wait. I'm so excited. The USFL this week released coaching staffs, so I'm going to go ahead and break down the Breakers coaching staff. Starting first, head coach John DeFilippo. You guys know pretty much everything about him. I've talked a lot about Coach Flip. So the only thing to point out is that Coach Flip does not have any head coaching experience. So he is a first-time head coach. So that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on, right? But starting off at offensive coordinator, we have Doug Martin. Now, a lot of people were asking me, is this the running back that played for the Buccaneers? No, completely different guy. Doug Martin was a quarterback for Kentucky in the 80s, and he's been an offensive coordinator for East Carolina, for Kent State, for New Mexico State, for Boston College. So he's been an offensive coordinator at, a lot of different places. He's also been a head coach at Kent State and New Mexico State. So he's got 16 years of head coaching experience, which I think is majorly important because, again, Coach Flip has not been a head coach before, and this guy has. So that's a guy that's working hand in hand with him, that's been through the things and knows when to call a timeout, when not to call a timeout, things of that nature. So he also runs an air raid offense. So I fully expect us to see a lot of passing. Last year's offense was a little bit more balanced. This year, I think it's going to be pass first offense, if that makes sense, or just it's going to be more often than not, we're going to pass the ball. I mean, that's the way I see it. That's how it looks so far. So moving on, as a quarterback coach, we've got John DeFilippo. He will also be the quarterback coach along with being the head coach. I mean, it makes sense. He's coached quarterbacks for over 10 years. He coached quarterbacks for the Jets, the Raiders, San Jose State, the Eagles, the Bears. He's got a lot of experience with quarterbacks. I'm pretty sure he played quarterback at James Madison. So, I mean, the guy, he knows his stuff. Moving on, running back coach Kirk Dahl. So Kirk Dahl coached running backs at East Carolina. He also coached at San Jose State, which is where he met Coach Flip, actually. He's also coached in the NFL for the Cardinals. He's got a lot of experience as an assistant head coach. So that's something, again, that's, just having guys on the staff that have either head coach experience or at least have some assistant head coaching experience. It seems like we have a decent amount of that. So that's really good. Wide receiver coach Doug Martin. The offensive coordinator, he will also obviously be in charge of wide receivers. He hasn't been a wide receiver coach at a lot of different places, but he's been a wide receiver coach at East Tennessee, and then he's also been a wide receiver coach at East Carolina. Now, combining both of those schools, he's got over 10 years of experience. So, he knows what he's doing. Okay, this is a veteran. Again, also Kirk Dahl is a veteran as well. There's a decent amount of guys on this staff that have a lot of coaching experience. Moving on to tight end coach TJ Verneri. You guys already knew that. He's a guy that's been on this show. I've also just kind of talked about him in general on this show before. Coached running backs in the CFL. He also coached fullbacks, which he kind of, told me that they do some things. Fullbacks do some things that are a little bit similar to tight end in the CFL. So, but he's also been a wide receiver coach, which I expect this to be a passing offense. So if you do the math, I expect our tight ends to probably do a little bit more receiving than blocking. So we'll see how that goes. But I do think that TJ Verneri is going to do a really good job. He's also a young up and coming coach, which is really cool. You love to see opportunities like that in this league. Offensive line coach Jim Turner, which, in case you didn't know, Jim Turner was our offensive line coach last season. So now he returns, and There are some new faces on the offensive line. There's going to have to be. We lost some guys. Um, so, but in case you didn't know, he's coached the Dolphins offensive line before. He's coached at the Bengals, Boston College, which is his alma mater. He's also coached at Texas A&M. So this is a guy that has a lot of experience coaching offensive linemen, and he's also got um, a lot of experience. Um, well, I guess I can't say a lot of experience. Well, yeah, he's got a lot of professional experience, and he's got experience in the USFL already. He was here last year. He knows a lot of these players, even if they aren't offensive linemen. He still knows them in general. So, like, that's good to have. So yeah, that is our offensive staff. I will go through it one more time. Offensive coordinator Doug Martin, quarterback coach John DeFilippo, running back coach Kirk Dahl, wide receiver coach Doug Martin, tight end coach TJ Vernieri, and offensive line coach Jim Turner. Now, moving to the defensive side of the ball, we've got John D. Tenuta, or I don't know why I do that. Sometimes I do that. John Tenuta, sorry. John Tenuta, defensive coordinator. He returns. He was here last season, which, um, in case you were living under a rock or maybe you're new to the Breakers community, we had one of the top defenses in the USFL last year, number one pass defense and the number four rush defense last year. So, I mean, statistically, it was a top three defense. Okay, Tenuta knows what he's doing. He's been a football coach for a very long time. He's got, I mean, so much experience, so much experience. We run a 4-2-5 defense, which I love. We got a lot of DBs out there. We've got, you know, rotating defensive linemen. I really love our defense, and I'm very happy that Tenuta will be back. Coaching our defensive line is Cornell Brown. So Cornell Brown was in the NFL for 8 years. Excuse me, won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. He was an All-American at Virginia Tech. This guy was no scrub as a football player, no scrub. He's coached defensive linemen in the NFL Europe for Frankfurt. He's coached at Virginia Tech, at Marshall, at Tarleton State. So this is a guy who's got experience. He's also played professional football in the NFL. So I'm excited for this one. Our defensive line was really strong last year, so I'm really excited to see what he can do with this group as we've got some guys returning. So I'm really excited for that one. Linebacker coach Zach Tenuta, which if it sounds familiar, that's because he's the son of John Tenuta. I thought when I learned about this a little while ago, I thought that this was awesome to have a father-son duo on the team. In the coaching staff, I think that's amazing. He's coached linebackers at Norfolk State, and he's also been a high school head coach. And I know that that's not, like being a head coach in the Group of Five or the Power Five or the NFL. I understand that. However, that's still head coaching experience, and it's good to have that on staff. So that's something that's really good to have. Coaching defensive backs will be John Tenuta. So along with being the defensive coordinator, this guy, he played defensive back at Virginia, and he has also coached defensive backs for combined over 20 years. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He was a defensive back. He's coached defensive backs for a long time. Now, our secondary is going to have a decent amount of turnover, losing two of your top corners. So, he's got a little bit of work cut out for him, but I trust Coach Tenuta. I think he's going to do a wonderful job. Also, helping out with that is Hunter Hughes. He'll be the assistant defensive backs coach. So Hunter Hughes was a defensive coordinator in Division I football for, I think, like 10 years. And then he ended up being the head coach at West Texas A&M for 6 years. So this is, again, a guy with head coaching experience. And even if it was at West Texas A&M, that's still head coaching experience. So that's over 20 years plus of head coaching experience between Hunter Hughes and also Doug Martin. And then also John Tenuta has head coaching experience, well, a little bit. He coached a bowl game for Georgia Tech. as an interim head coach, which is still something. He's also been an assistant head coach. So there's guys on here that have, been assistant head coaches. Special teams coordinator will also be Kirk Dahl. He's been a special teams coordinator at East Carolina, at Florida International, at San Jose State University, and also at Texas A&M, among, I'm sure, other places as well. Kirk Dahl has done some really good things. He really helped turn around East Carolina's special teams unit. They were pretty bad before he got there in, like, I think it was around 2012 ish. So, I mean, this is a guy that's, he's done some really good stuff. And, again, he's a veteran coach. He's also coached at LSU. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier or not, but he's coached at LSU. He won a national championship at LSU with Nick Saban in 2003. So that's a little bit of Louisiana tie right there. But nonetheless, I really like this staff. There's a lot of experience on this staff, but I think that was important because, again, Coach Flip has never been a head coach before. So you gotta have guys that have experience, right? But I also like the fact that we've got guys like TJ Verneri and also Zach Tenuta and even Cornell Brown to a degree that, are still kind of getting that experience and still kind of a little bit new in the game. Coach Verneri is very new in the game, but these are guys that are talented. They're talented young coaches. There's also experienced young coaches. So I'm really excited. I really like this staff. And I think that they're going to do good things. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you guys this week. A little bit of a quicker video, but I just kind of wanted to get straight to the point. Nothing too crazy, nothing too long. So I will try to get some camp updates for you guys in the next coming weeks. So April 16th is coming soon. It's coming very soon. So be on the lookout for more content, and I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Until next time, Breaker Nation, it is your boy Lowe. I am signing off.